Hey people, welcome to my channel The Coach. In today's video we are going to discuss about developmental approach and mostly we'll be focusing on predictive approach. Let's start with the definition of developmental approach. So developmental approach is defined as a method used to create and evolve a product, service or result during the project life cycle. So when we talk about a project has its start date and end date. Period between the start date and end date is known as project life cycle. After the project ends, we get our output in form of product, result or services. So throughout the project life cycle, the product or service or result, whatever you want to create, that moves through different stages, developmental stages. These stages are known as phases. So developmental approach talks about how you carry these phases. So the most common way to do it is sequentially. As you can see here, the phases are sequential. After phase 1 comes phase 2 and then comes phase 3. Let's take an example of a project where you have to make a website. So it will have a start date and end date, and the project phases runs here sequentially. So the first phase is requirement, where the requirement of the website is collected. Second one is design and development, where the sample of the website is made and actual development take place. And finally the test team tests the web and it is delivered to the final customer, just like rowing a boat in a single direction. However, this is not the only way to do the project. There are different approaches which you can opt for based on the project type, your organization culture and the scenario in which you are doing the project. So these are the options which you have. The very first option is that you can run your project phases in parallel instead of sequential. So if you have 3 phases and 2 of the phase you run in parallel, it saves your time. Or you can develop your product in the continuous feedback loop, like you collect the requirement, you do design and development, and then you finally test it. Again, after testing, you show it to the customer. If customer gives any changes, again you go do the changes in requirement. You design, again you develop and test, and you show it to the customer. Once the customer says yes, then you finally deliver your product. So based on how you are doing your project, the developmental approaches are of 2 types, predictive and adaptive. And the adaptive is of 3 types, iterative, incremental and agile. So now let's learn about predictive approach in detail. Predictive approach is also known as waterfall method. As waterfall is unidirectional, similarly if you do a project in predictive approach, the phases are sequential and unidirectional. Like if the first phase is requirement, the next phase, design and development, will come after you complete everything in the requirement phase. And once you start design and development, you are not allowed to go back and do any changes in requirement phase. After design and development, then comes the test phase. So here your test team tests the product which you have made, and finally it is delivered to the final end customer. So as you can see, the direction of the predictive approach is unidirectional. The phases are sequential. We call it as waterfall. Now it's time to discuss few distinguishing characteristics of predictive approach. First one is single delivery model. So the product passes sequentially throughout the project life cycle and the final product is delivered to the customer. That is why we say that it is a single delivery model. Scope, that is work, cost, that is money, and schedule, that is time, is defined at the start of the project. Since everything is fixed, it is very easy to manage the cost. Due to the fixed requirement, we also conclude predictive approach as plan the work and work the plan. We come to the conclusion of our video. I hope you liked the video. For more such content, like, share and subscribe.